Yes, and welcome back to the Ash Williams Show. My name is Ash Williams, and I am fired up. How the fuck are ya? Hope you're well, hope you're fired up. Now, I did ask for the piano version of I Am Fired Up from Stu, our musical director. And Stu DM'd me and said, listen, I sent it to you a year ago. So let's get a little bit of the Stu I Am Fired Up. And I am fired up. Nice. And I am fired up. Singing to, like, you know, guys and girls on Tinder dates. And I'm just there in a suit. And I am fired up. Nice. And then I'd sprinkle some. Make some. That's it, on the top hat. And I am fired up. Nice. It's like the house band on Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Fallon. And I am fired up. I'm going to stop that. It goes for 5 minutes. Make some noise. Let's fade that down. Thank you to Stu for sending that through a year ago. Got a message here from Shane David with regards to last week's ep. Number 1, Divine Brown. Quality reference. Poor old Hugh Grant. I was talking about bobbing for kebabs, and I think I said Davina Brown, who was a girl I went on a date with 15 years ago. Very different to Divine Brown. And then Shane David's also written, star 10 hash was the number that gave you the last number that called. So millennials, you won't know what that means, but that's if you miss a call on a home phone and you're like, who's that stalker? Is it a debt collector? Is it an ex-girlfriend? Star 10 hash will give you the last number. And at Little Westie also confirmed that. She wrote, star 10 hash is the number that gave you the last number. Patreon is firing up. I got to tell you, it's a place to be. Forget about your Netflix. Forget about your Amazons, your Stans. Get on Patreon. From $2 a month, you can listen to my mum's episode. That's going well. We're recording those every 2 weeks. Get your questions in you want to ask my mum. 0406 284 954. All right. Did I mention we are filming this? We're back on video. I promised this to you last week, and I mean it, because I'm fired up, because all those motherfuckers were stealing the content. So now we're going video, and now we're going full ball. Already got our first question for the Mum Patreon episode from Ben Fordham. Ben wrote, if you could set Ash up with any woman on earth, who would it be? Beautiful question, Ben. Now, folks, I've got something big for you here. Listener of the show and shareholder, Vinny Van Gogh, has some information on the $4 worth of petrol culprit. Now, folks, this ends here. This is the information you've been waiting for with bated breath. And it's come to hand, and the hand that feeds you is none other than Ed Cavalier from Dancing with the Stars fame, of course. He's a dancer, and that's all. Now, and I'm going to throw to Ed here, because Ed's actually, he's going to reveal who bought the $4 worth of petrol in the packet of dingers. I'm going to play you a snippet.
Now, I can't segue, can I, Mo? I can't segue to the greatest off-air story we ever heard.
Not the servo story.
Yes.
No.
Don't even say it.
Oh.
Don't even say those words together.
Yeah. But if it's true.
There it is, okay? If you want to hear the rest of that, it's on Patreon, okay? I'm not going to put everything on Patreon, but if you do want to know once and for all, and then we can move on with our lives and focus on coronavirus, who bought the $4 worth of petrol? The answer's there. This is not smoke and mirrors. The answer is there. I can't be bothered talking about it anymore. I'm over it. So yeah, patreon.com/Ash Williams Show. Also on there is all the Ash and Ed episodes, which are being uploaded weekly. They're old episodes from like 3 years ago, but they're pretty cooked. We're up to Kathy the Foot Perv or Foot Fan. Kathy. If you like the Kathy stuff, get on Patreon. Now, what's been going on with my week? The office is going well in Bondi. And I don't know if you know this, but I share the office with a protein bar company and a lady that transports horses. Actual horses, not men, with appendages. So it's going well. It's free coffee, free Wi-Fi, and free protein bars. They didn't say free protein bars, but when there's like, I want to say there's like 100 protein bars within sight at any moment, I'm eating a protein bar. Like, if you don't like it, fuck, I'll leave. If you're listening, landlord, by the way, your rent's coming. But the way I see it, if I drink enough coffee, eat enough protein bars, not only will I break even, I will turn a profit. I'm coming out with my fucking cardigan stacked full of these protein bars. I'm taking like 5 home a day. And you know, I could start selling them. I could probably start selling these protein bars similar to my younger brother, who yesterday, he charged me $2 for a drumstick ice cream from his freezer. And I said, mate, get fucked. So I said, show your older brother some respect. Just because you're a medical doctor doesn't mean I'm not your older brother. Doesn't mean I'm not your older brother. And he goes, take it or leave it. It's still cheaper than the shops. I was like, yeah, good point. So I paid him the $2. But, yeah, maybe I can start selling the protein bars to my brother. But back to the office. Something happened in the office with the horse lady. So she can see my desk because of the way the mirrors are configured. And she could see what I was looking at on my phone. And I know that she thinks I was looking at porn because it looked like porn, because it was. No, it was actually an Instagram story of a topless... No. It was an Instagram story of a model that was topless who was dancing. And I didn't know that was coming up. I was just scrolling on Instagram story. Next thing you know, there's it's a strip show. And I'm looking at it. I didn't swipe on. I was like, this is good, pretty good. And then I look up and Horse Lady is looking at me and she gives me these eyes that say, really? Like, you come in here once a week and you're looking at porn? Really? And I was just like, I didn't say anything, because if she wasn't thinking that, then that's a big commitment from me to say, I wasn't looking at porn. And then she's like, what? I'm like, nothing. What? Didn't you think I was looking at porn? And she's like, no. I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm not. Now, look, speaking of horses, all right, who's had sex with a horse? Give us a call on the hotline. Michael, you're live. I was in the sauna the other day and I heard a great joke, and I'm going to retell it to you. This guy's in the sauna and he goes, who wants to hear an original joke? Right? It's a packed house, standing room only in this sauna. There's like 25 people in there. And I go, I don't know him. So I go, yeah, love to. And he goes, full disclosure, I saw this on a meme, but I've turned it into a joke. And I came up with it. This is my joke. I said, great. Pray tell. And he goes, all right, so God is talking to all of the animals in the world and assigning... Actually, I've heard this joke. It's not an original joke, but anyway, this guy says it's an original. God is talking to all of the animals in the world. And he's like, all right, rabbits, you're going to, whatever, jump through a hole. I've changed the joke already. This is not what he said. I'm trying to make it better. I'm going to tell you exactly what he said. So he goes, God was telling all the animals their jobs. So he gets to the horse and says, you're going to be able to run really fast. And the horse goes, or yep. And then God goes, you're not going to be able to talk. And the horse goes, Also, you got to remember he's telling this joke. There's like women around, there's kids. It's a fucking mess. So then then God goes, you got to run in a race. And if you win, a little man that whips you will get money. And the horse goes, He goes, what? I'm going to get whipped by a little man? And God goes, And then the horse goes, I don't know about this, God. And then God goes, you get a 4-foot cock. I'm in, the horse said. Now, it's not bad. It's not good, but it's one thing is it's not original, even though this guy says it's an original. The second thing is no one laughed in the sauna, which I felt for the guy because it deserved a chuckle. It deserved a chuckle because he kind of delivered the punch well. And I gave him like a consolatory. Pretty good, mate. Pretty good. And he's like, pretty good? It's an original. And I'm like, mate, it's not an original. And he's like, what do you mean? I came up with it. I'm like, anyway. But yeah, I thought I'd just tell you that joke. Speaking of horses again, I saw a horse in the shower this morning. Biggest dick I've seen in, I want to say ever. In the flesh, it's the biggest cock I've ever seen. Bigger than my dad's. And my dad's is massive. Like, huge. I used to take showers with my dad up until the age of about 22. No, maybe, I guess I was 10. It's weird now that I say it. We all used to jump in the shower together. Me, my dad, my younger brother, and I've got another younger brother too. So 3 boys. Come to think of it, I was pretty fucking old. I think I might have been like 14. And anyway, I remember seeing like dad's dick thinking, I'm going to get that one day. I'm still waiting. I mean, is it cosmetically enhanced, Dad? Anyway, what am I talking about? This guy's dick in the change room this morning was bigger than my dad's. He must have been working on it. Like, this thing was 3 foot. No, what? Let's get real. It was 25 centimeters. It was on a flaccid. It was. If you're watching this on a video, I'm going to stand up to show you where it was up to. There. Just past the middle of the thigh, and it was flaccid, and he was eyeballing people. Like, I went in there to fill my water up, and he's eyeballing people with his third eye. And I'm like, I was going to ask him if I could take a pic, because it was that big. It's 6:30 in the morning. And I'm like, it might give him the wrong idea, you know? Pretty sure he was gay. Who can tell? 6:30 in the morning with a fucking like 70% boner. 90% maybe. We got to fast forward here, folks. I've actually got enough material here for 2 episodes. Easily. But that will all go next week. We might do 2 eps next week. Because I got to get through these stories. Do you remember like 2 weeks ago, there was a guy who came up to me after tennis and said, excuse me, can I get your number? And I was like, come again? And he's like, yeah, I would love to catch up and play. And I'm like, mate, I'm not seeing anyone at the moment, okay? Not looking to start anything new. And he goes, no, I'm a really good tennis player. Anyway, I played with that guy during the week. He's okay. He's pretty shit. But he comes clean to me. This is what he says to me. He goes, I got to be honest with you. I saw you playing. By the way, he's straight. Not that it matters, but he's straight. He goes, got to be honest with you. I saw you playing a year ago. And I went up to the receptionist and I said, who's that guy? I want his number. And the receptionist said, no, you're not good enough to play with him. So this guy tells me he's been practicing for a year in the hope that he'd be good enough to play with me. And now he's at the level where he thinks he's good enough. And he's standing on the court going, and here we are, a year later. I'm like, mate, this is your story. I didn't know you a year ago, you fucking psycho. You're like the tennis version of Hannibal Lecter. You're going to fucking cut me up. You're going to bury me under the court. I buried him on the court, though. But, I mean, it was interesting. And to be fair, he's probably a year too early to play with me, but happy to have a hit, mate. Happy to have a hit. Got a message here from @Huey. @Huey writes, do I need to formally request slow-mo tennis videos? No, you don't, Huey. I'll do that for you. We'll put that on the gram. You know, a video that's going well with my brother is the tennis tantrum video, where if you follow me on social media, you would have seen my brother and I were playing tennis, and we arrived in a car together. My brother then cracked the shits, got in the car, and I caught the tram home. Now, that video, people are like saying, what did your brother say? Now, I'm going to play it to you. See if you can deduct what he says. Here we go.
I'm playing a fucking fault with you, mate. Fuck's sake.
Now, I think he says, I played the faults with you, mate. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the video too. We're very slick here at the Ash Williams Show. But maybe we'll get my brother on the phone next week to find out what he really said. The hidden tapes of my brother. What else we got? Milk Bar Wars. So kombucha. My Asian dude now, it's $2.75 flat. Loving it. I've got his name now. It's Ben. Ben the Butcher, I call him. Or the Deal Doctor. And I've got a photo of Ben. I'll get it up on social media. But the new deal this week is cheese. Because they got themselves in trouble this week at the Milk Bar because they're selling off cheese. Yeah, I went in there for some coon. I love the coon. And I thought, you know what? I know Ben the Butcher is sus. So I look at the use by, and it's like 10th of January 2020. So I show fucking Ben. I go, Ben, your coon's off. And he's like, he wasn't too stressed. He goes, yeah, but that says best before, not used by. I said, tomato, it's still not good, Ben. And he goes, yeah. If it was used by, that's really bad, but it's best before. So what you're buying, if you buy this, you're not going to get sick, but it's not going to taste good. I'm like, you're selling it well, Ben. You're selling it well. Now listen, let me go back to the fridge and, dig into the back part and see if there's any other coon that's not off. Anyway, I found one. It was like April. And then Ben got me down from $7 to a $6 coon. So I'm now getting cheap cheese off Ben, which is good. That little strip of shops, though, I got to tell you, guess who I saw? I saw the most famous person I've ever seen at the South Bondi shops. Any guesses? No, I wouldn't have thought so. Louis Theroux. Louis fucking Theroux. Sitting there. And I'm a good spotter on just a visual, but I thought I'm just going to need some audio. So I walked close to his table, and he's full Louis Theroux, like, yes, so I went there and I was enjoying the food. I was like, that's Louis Theroux. That's Louis Theroux. So I walk off. He's wearing an orange ski zipper. Right? I go to this vegetarian place every night. I'm waiting for my vegetarian, and there's a couple in front of me who are like taking forever and a day to order their fucking tempeh. Like, if you don't know how to order, step aside, sister, right? Then the girl in front turns around and goes, Ash? And I go, yeah? She's like, Georgia. And I'm like, oh my God, Georgia, it's you. And she's like, yeah. And to fill you in, I went on a date with Georgia about a year ago and did not recognize her again. And I just said, Georgia, you look good. And then she laughed. And I was like, why are you laughing? And she's like, oh, because you're saying it like you're surprised. Like, you think that after our date that I'm just going to fall away and everything's going to go to shit. And I'm like, no, that's not what I was saying. I'm just trying to, you look good is all I'm saying. Anyway, we order our vegetarian and I go home and I thought, you know what? I need a photo of Louis Theroux. So I messaged Georgia and I said, listen, do me a favor. Can you please get a photo of Louis Theroux, even from behind? That way you're not risking, embarrassment or anything. Just get it from behind. I've never seen a more disappointing photo in my life. I'm going to upload to our Instagram the photo that she sent me of Louis Theroux. And then she said, I'm so sorry. I got close to him and it all got too much. And then the photo is so bad. What do you mean it got too much, Georgia? I'm not fucking asking you to kill someone. Take a photo. It's Louis Theroux. Now, I was running on Bondi Beach yesterday morning at 6:30 in the morning. It reminded me, the last time I did that, I was filming a video on Spec for Swiss vitamins. Now, if you don't know what video on Spec means, it means you're desperate for work. So desperate that you're sending through pilots, hoping to get picked up by brands. Unheard of. Sending through pilots. And I had a contact at Swiss and he said, send us through an example of some content that we can use and then we can look at paying you. So I write this script, right? And I thought, who's going to film it? So I found this company and I tried to explain to them that this is on Spec. And if this job comes through, we're all going to be rich-ish. And they're like, cool, we'll send you through a budget. I'm like, that doesn't sound good. He goes, no, just a quote. It's going to be cheap, mates rates. I'm like, even mates rates is never good. And I'd rather enemies rates. And then he sends me through this quote and it's got like, it's like a fucking 3-man camera crew, drones. There were 2 drones, catering. I'm like, dude, this is going to cost me more money than I have. So I said, let's do skeleton shoot. And I'll promise you back end. It's like I'm treating this brand thing like we've got a pilot coming up on NBC like Seinfeld. I'll give you back end on this deal, right? And this guy bought that, surprisingly, but it still cost me $500 to shoot. And it wasn't until I was running on the sand yesterday that I remembered that video. I remembered we shot that video. Now, no one's ever seen this video. It's hilarious because it's meant to be serious. I'm going to play you a bit right now, okay? Just as a tease. As a comedian, I've got to stay fit, not only physically, but mentally as well. My name is Ash Williams, and I'm powered by Swiss. Now, if you want to watch the rest of that vid, it's on Patreon. That's my last push to Patreon. We've got too much going on Patreon, but if you want to Watch that. I think it's the funniest video I've seen for 3 or 4 years. Funniest original video that I've found that no one's seen. No one's seen this. I know Ed Cavalier was trying to get his hands on it about a year ago. Wanted to play it on Team Effort. But this is the only place you'll hear it. Oh, God, it's good stuff. We're going to wrap it up. We got a Patreon party coming up. First 100 Patreons get tickets to the party. It'll be in Melbourne, Sydney at this stage. Free piss, free food, and a short podcast. Actually, Peter Lead commented, can we do the Patreon party at your mum's? You can charge people to shadowbox. Yeah, I will try and get her to come, Pete. Well, that came out wrong. She'll be there. We got to skip that story. There's too much in this podcast. Boo. I'm on the bus on Friday, going to eat some burgers, right? Not a euphemism, literally going to Betty's Burgers. And this lady on the bus sitting opposite me, right, she's wearing dark Ray-Bans. Looks like she might be on drugs, but you don't know. Kind of looked like Mick Hucknall. And she goes to me, bit much. So it's like this. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's like this. Bit much, don't you think? And I go, what? And she points at my cock and goes, bit much. Then I remembered I wasn't wearing jocks, and I thought, oh my God, my cock's out on the bus. So, so I've like gone to, cover myself modestly, and I realized that my cock is inside my shorts by quite a margin. And then I'm like, what's she going on about? Cock's tucked in. I said, what's your problem? And she goes, the mansplaining. It's a bit much. And I go, what, the way I'm sitting? And I was sitting like this. If you're watching, I'm sitting like that. She goes, yeah, it's a bit much. And I said, well, what would you prefer? You want me to sit cross-legged? And she goes, yeah. And I said, well, what about the person next to you? I mean, they might be offended by me being cross-legged. And she's like, well, all I'm saying is it's a bit much. And I go, well, you're sitting like that. And she goes, yeah, but I haven't got all the bits that you have. And she goes, I bet they're big bits. And I'm like, I hope so. My dad's as big. But like, who is this fucking woman? And then she's like going, so are you going to sit with your legs crossed? I said, I've got 2 stops to go. You'll be right. And then the girl next to her was fucking loving it. She's like there with popcorn going, oh my God, this is great. Fucking buses, mate. We're going to get some texts. I'm going to skip that. Someone sent me the video of my scene on the X's in America with the male prostitute. So I'm going to get that video. That'll be next week. As I've said about 20 times, we are videotaping this. You want to watch this on YouTube. Now, tonight I'm going out for a drink with a real housewife of Melbourne. She just texted me saying, a friend of mine is having a cocktail party in Rushcutters Bay. There's a crew from LA coming, including the head producer of the Grammys. They'll love you. Please come. I am going to go. In fact, this could be a ruse for Tens and Dudes. Make sure you come with the head producer. But I'll give you a full report on that. We now have the hotline 0406 284 954. Getting some texts. We can't get to them all because there's too many. Hey Ash, Claire here. Hope you're doing fab. Quick question. Would Count Dracula make an appearance at Tens and Dudes the musical? It was only a kiss. In Dracula style. Could be a great addition to the music. Cheers. Have a ripper day. That's actually a really good idea, Claire. That's awesome. I do like it. Started with the keys. Never thought it would come to this. And then, yeah, Count Dracula. That's good. That is good. Maybe we should fucking do this. You know, we're videotaping the podcast now. The next step is to do a musical on Broadway. I think, maybe I should start writing it. Another text. Hey, Ash, another version of Tens and Dudes. Priests and prostitutes. It writes itself. It doesn't write itself. but good suggestion. Hey, Ash, I noticed you're not doing the Adelaide Fringe. Adelaide needs you. How about a visit, bro? Yours in fired upness, Chris. Yeah, not doing Adelaide, mate, because don't want to lose money. But we might get down there. Another text. Listener challenge time. First, I beat Ed Kay at table tennis live on air, and now I'll beat Ash Williams at tennis. We can even put it up to $100 each. Just think, if you win, that's a new pair of shoes, or it'll keep you in fresh socks for 3 months. This is Jordan. Okay, Jordan? If you can get to Sydney, I'll play you. Another text. Ash, don't know how large your entourage is running, but I'm committed to being your fucking number one PA. You want a long black? Fucking already on it, mate. And I'm pressing your suit between weights. I'm in guest relations, so this is my life, buddy. Here's a pic of me at work in the gym getting pretty fired up. Also, I'm a musician. I've got you covered. Ryan. Oh my God, Ryan is very, very handsome. Do you fuck Ryan? I mean, you're a good-looking dude, man. You're a good-looking dude. We're going to let's get a voicemail and then we'll wrap it up.
Hey, Ash. It's Chris calling from head office. It's about 1 a.m. out walking the dogs again under the stars. Finally not smoky here. Under the stars. Multiple. Yeah. Just been out of town in Adelaide for a couple of weeks. Back in town now at the head office. Head office is manned again. We're going to have to cancel plans for the Golden Gay Time ticket. We can't do it. It's not possible. But I reckon we can create our own Cap 500 Golden Gay Time that maybe just has like almonds and dates and cacao on the outside. I don't know. Maybe other ingredients. I haven't really got anything else at the head office. Those are all the ingredients I have here. Maybe tell other Cap 500 people to send more ingredients to the head office. All right, fire up. Cheers. Bye.
I'm getting worried about Chris. That's his most worrying voicemail yet. All over the shop in Canberra. All over the shop. Walking dogs at 1 a.m, crapping on, making no sense. About fucking gay times and almonds. Get some rest, Chris. That is the podcast. You can watch this on YouTube. And we got a lot coming up. A lot. Patreon.com/Ash Williams Show if you want to see the Swiss video, find out who bought the $4 worth of petrol, and a whole lot more. Of course, our number, which if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I actually do have an iPhone 3, which is, and it's on. So 0406 284 954. We're up and about. Fired up. Okay, we're coming for every podcast. You know, there are podcasts out there that have, great equipment. They've got Ferrari equipment, but they don't know how to drive. All right, we know how to drive. And we're up to like a fucking Mazda 323 right now. Maybe we're at like an old Porsche. We're coming for you. All right. This is the Ash Williams Show. Thank you so much for listening. And I will talk to you next week. Take care. Bye. And I am fired up. And I am fired up. Singing to guys and girls on Tinder dates. And I'm just there in a suit. And I am fired up. And then I'd sprinkle make some noise. and I am fired up. And I am fired up. Make some noise. And the song goes for an hour.